Khamzat Chimaev versus Kamaru Usman. Will Kamaru be able to bring the upset with 10 days notice, or will Khamzat get the next title shot against Sean Strickland? Let me predict the fight for you guys. Hello and welcome to Bloodsport MMA.
Salam alaikum to everyone.
As you already heard, Khamzat Chimaev will fight Kamaru Usman instead of Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa got injured. Usman stepped up, short notice, one weight class above 185 is where they fight. They're both former 170 pounders, so welterweights. Now they're fighting at middleweight, and the winner of that fight will get the title shot, which makes that fight so much more exciting and important, right? The question is, does Kamaru Usman still have the juice in him?
Because of a pictogram.
To beat a young, fast, strong guy like Khamzat Chimaev. The problem is, look, Kamaru Usman was probably the most dominant welterweight ever, definitely since GSP, right? And Usman is not the youngest anymore. And Usman had a long wrestling career. His knees are absolutely shattered. He can barely walk anymore without any painkillers or something. His knees are out of your mind damaged. And that affects your wrestling ability a lot in the cage. Of course, you have the adrenaline flowing and everything, but still, if your knees are that damaged, you will feel it in the cage. And you can see that in his performances, I believe, at least lately, even though he looked good in the first fight against Edwards, we can't forget that. And you could make the argument, hey, maybe in the second fight against Edwards, because as I said, in the first fight against Edwards, so 2 fights ago, he was dominating Edwards like crazy. He was looking like $1 million until he got knocked out. And you could argue that, hey, maybe he was just a little gun shy against Edwards in the second fight, you know what I mean? Because that's the guy who just knocked you out. The first time in your life you've been knocked out. And you hear many fighters talk about that especially if you face the same adversary again, that you are very gun shy because you're like, shit, and that last time I stepped into the octagon with that dude, he shot my lights out in front of the whole crowd. Half naked, you know what I mean? That's an embarrassing moment. So you could argue that that may have been a factor against Edwards, and that was the whole reason, or the main reason, why he didn't look as much as the Kamaru Usman we know. But now he faces a very different challenge in Khamzat, because you have to see, Khamzat is also a phenomenal wrestler. What normally happens when two phenomenal wrestlers face each other? Let's look at Colby Covington versus Kamaru Usman, both fights. Normally, they then start to strike. And even though I think Kamaru Usman probably has one of the most beautiful jabs in the whole UFC at the moment, Khamzat Chimaev is just so much more of a natural 185er. Like, he was never a welterweight, in my opinion. He's taller, longer reach, probably more power behind his punches, and is still very young and fit and like juicy, you know what I mean, with his attacks.
Why are you gay?
And I believe that will be a problem for Kamaru Usman. I believe Kamaru Usman, 3 years ago, that fight would have looked different, but I do believe that Kamaru Usman is just a little bit behind now with the speed, with everything, and Khamzat is just too strong, I believe, for Usman to out-wrestle him. I will be really curious to see if Khamzat shoots for a takedown, but I could see that just being a striking fight. But what people say, he didn't shot against Gilbert Burns, yeah, but what you have to see is, Gilbert Burns is a submission threat. Against Burns, you will get into like submission threats the whole time when you try to take him down. Usman is a typical wrestler. Usman is not a submission guy. Usman just tries to lie on top of you and create damage with ground and pound. So if you are able to take Usman down, that is not as big of a danger like taking Burns down. So I would not be surprised if Khamzat actually shoots for a takedown, because I do believe Khamzat is a stronger guy in the wrestling department as well. Not the more technical, but the more strong guy, and strength definitely makes a factor in that realm. But I do believe that this fight will just be, it's only 3 rounds, don't forget that it will be 3 rounds of entertainment for the fans, and just a lot of striking, a lot of wrestling attempts, like takedown attempts. I don't think the fight will be on the ground too much, mostly striking, but I do believe Khamzat is just a little bit too fast for him, a little bit too young and juicy and fast, you know what I mean? No homo though. So my prediction is that Khamzat just has a I don't want to disrespect Usman by saying dominant, like he's gonna dominate him, like make him look like he doesn't belong there. No, not like that. But I do believe Khamzat in all 3 rounds will just be the fresher, guy that just has more in the tank, especially with the whole training camp. And if Khamzat is fit, I do believe he will win against Kamaru Usman by unanimous decision, 30-27. I don't believe he will get him out of there, but you never know. I don't know how Kamaru's chin is now after that Everts knockout. But hey, Kamaru Usman definitely has a chance to win the fight 100%. Kamaru Usman is as good as it gets.
I need to put some respect on my fucking name.
I just believe it's Khamzat's time now. What is your prediction for the fight? Write it in the comments, guys. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel. I would highly appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much. And most importantly, that you can beat Khamzat Chimaev. Make sure to get your sleep in. Until the next one, bye-bye. Bloodsport out.